asked to give my testimony of when my soul was saved. And certainly don't mind giving that to the world. But when I was around 8 years old, I don't think I was quite 8, my little nephew, 2 years old, passed away. Had a tumor of the brain. I remember going to the service, the funeral, which was in a cemetery, Noble's Cemetery. Brother Jim Stewart preached the message, and he held up Jesus. First time I'd ever heard about Jesus. It touched me. I was disturbed knowing that he held his arms out and he said, this little baby is safe in the arms of Jesus. I was very disturbed about that. See what kind of Savior he was that time and point. Of course, wasn't saved. Years later, don't know really the age, going to church, and I remember being very disturbed at church. My knees knocking, felt like my heart was coming out, and yet I wasn't saved. Then singing the song, Just As I Am. I remember the song, it seemed like God was just wanting me to come to Him. And I said I couldn't. Because He was holy and I wasn't. And I didn't know what to do. And carrying that burden, don't know exactly how old I was, teenager, 15, 16, somewhere along in there, maybe 14, I'm not sure. I remember crying out to God from my heart, not saying a word, tears going down my face, asking God to have mercy upon me. And He did. It was so simple till I hardly knew what happened, till I walked out on the porch of Thomas Baptist Church. And I felt clean from my head to my toe. And I was wondering, what's going on? What's happened? I feel so clean. And I thought about right back there calling out to God. That's where that He saved me. And then in later years, I wasn't baptized after I was saved there. Later years, 1961, married. We got into the church at State Line, and I moved my letter from Thomas to State Line. I still wasn't satisfied. I was still very upset. Remember one Thursday morning pressing Leo's uniforms because he worked at Borden's cheese plant. And I got to the place I couldn't even see to press the clothes. I just put the iron up and kneeled down under the oven here in my kitchen and asked God what was wrong. Why was I so upset? He let me know baptism. When that come into my heart, I rejoiced. I was so happy because the burden left. I couldn't wait till Sunday come to be a part of the church and be baptized. That made the biggest difference in my life. At that time, I was 22 years old. I began to read, knew nothing, felt inferior to everybody at State Line because they knew church work, they knew their Bible. I knew nothing. So I began to study and study and study day up in the night. Then I accumulated so much zeal, I didn't know what to do with it. And I'm sure I got out of order, not knowing how to conduct myself, not having the knowledge that I needed, and not being brought up and taught things about the Bible. But anyway, it was different. It's been different ever since I was 22. Of course, I've had some, went through some trials in my life, and sometimes would be pulled away from God, but repented and come back to Him. And last several years, it's just been wonderful to know that I have a God and I have a Savior that could lead and direct my life every day. And the church has been wonderful at Forest Haven. Been a great blessing for me. And even in trying to teach for 30 years there, it's been a wonderful blessing for me. I've learned probably more than the women's learned by studying for myself. Thankful for great men of God that stood and preached the word there. Since 1983, we became members there. But anyway, we enjoyed and found out that I had this cancer, and found out it was in the 4th stage, and I have no fear. When the lady told me that she was sorry, nurse practitioner, that I had a spot on my lung, I looked at her and smiled. And I said, that don't bother me. Because I knew where I was going. And it didn't matter. When the Lord got ready for me, I'm ready to go. I'm leaving it up to God as to my suffering and how much He wants me to suffer. When He'll take me out of this world, it's in His hands. My body belongs to God. It don't belong to myself, and it don't belong to nobody but God, because He teaches us that in His Word, that we're to glorify God in our body and in our spirit, which are God's to start with. So all I ask that people to pray for me, that I can stay close to God until the day I close my eyes in death. I want to be true to Him.